There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up, and welcome into episode number 98 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Patrick Kurtzberger, Matt Gann, Mark Hall, no Ryan Tyson this week. Today is Wednesday, November 22nd. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, costs you $0, helps us out more than you know. You can also follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Be Real, whatever. What's the new one, Patrick? What's the other new one? Laps. Okay.
We on it. We're on it.
Maybe we're on
Patrick's
it. Patrick's
got us popping on all of them.
Yeah, Patrick's crushing it. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Gentlemen, how we living? I sound like death. Let's just get out of the way now. I don't have COVID. I just have severe nasal congestion, but we out here and we're living. Boys, how we doing?
I'm similar, man. I have a little bit of nasal congestion as well, but it's almost Thanksgiving. Let us be the first to wish you Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Just to wish you Thanksgiving. Yeah. To wish you Thanksgiving.
Hey, have a Christmas.
It is your birthday. It is your birthday. It's amazing. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it with your family and friends. And that's kind of why we're getting you a little earlier pod this week. So we don't have to record on Wednesday night. We can spend some time with our families as well. But go ahead and hit that like button if you're watching. And tell us what you're thankful for down below in the comments. We read every single one of your comments.
And on that note,
real
fast, I think we should open the pod with something that we're all thankful for.
Okay.
Right? And I think for a fun twist, it can't be pod related.
Yeah.
And it can't be OU related. So I think Matt Gann
should definitely go first.
Well, I mean, you just took the two biggest things that are a part of my everyday life. You know, I mean, what else? I am very thankful for my family who support me every single day, and I will be able to head back home this weekend to spend some time with them and also bring my girlfriend and her mom as well. So very thankful for my family and my girlfriend with her mom coming up. Very thankful for them all. They've been my support system since day one. They're the OGs.
The OGs, literally. Patrick, what are you thankful for?
Yeah, I got my family coming in town too from Germany as well. So super thankful for that. Thankful for the 15 weddings I've attended this year too, where I've gotten to see every single one of you and a lot of my other friends as well. So it's just been a good year of seeing people consistently, and you can't take that for granted.
A lot of love.
Absolutely. Mark, what are you thankful for, brother?
Yeah, y'all took this in just like different ways than I was kind of thinking. I was hoping we'd do something fun. Or
fun and bantery.
So,
no, but he's not.
We just don't banter like we used to, right? In our old age, we've lost it. So I'll say I'm thankful for modern medicine, not necessarily modern healthcare, right? That's a globally messed up. Actually, it's not. It's just here, right? Crazy. But modern medicine, because as the guys know, and followers probably do not, I cut my thumb not too long ago, and it still doesn't look super great, but it's healing, and feeling is not totally back but partially back. And if I didn't go to the urgent care at all, none of this would be happening. I would just be a bleeding stump of a thumb. So I'm really thankful for modern medicine because they saved me from my own mistake there.
Nice.
Mason, what about you, brother?
I'm thankful for somebody who's been in my life since 2020, and they know who I'm talking about. You guys know who I'm talking about too. It's just someone who's been really, really important in my life and my development. When they came into my life, I was in a dark place. And ever since I've met them and been around them, I've just become a better person. And that person is Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins quarterback. So
that's not what
I'm thankful.
I knew I'd
get you, Mark.
I was thinking like the gym owner. Like I was thinking,
You guys-
that's
you
what I
guys knew.
thought. I didn't think Katie. That's too easy.
Yeah, right.
I thought for sure it was like the gym owner or some other Tulsa guy.
I thought you were going to talk about James.
Dude, James does rock though. James rocks. James,
There's
shout
no
out
way
James.
is listening. Stop
No,
sucking up.
he definitely does it. But shout out James. Shout out if
He
you
doesn't
know, you
even
know.
know about the podcast.
Nah,
He knows.
he doesn't. He saw all those people wearing program guys shirts on the beach, and he's like, "What's up with the shirts?
Is that a band?
Is it a bit? What's the bit? All right, guys, let's get into some OU news here. We'll start with some recruiting rankings. On 3 consensus rankings has Oklahoma number 8 for the 2024 class as of right now. Some other guys, some dominoes can fall. OU has a chance to end with a higher ranked class, also lower, if we're being quite honest. But how do you feel about a number 8 class rolling into December signing period? I think we're 3 weeks away from that December, maybe 3 or 4 weeks away around there. What do we think, boys?
It shows. I hate to compare it to past coaches, but look, this staff is not lazy and prepares for the future consistently. And we have gotten some of the best recruits, especially on the defensive side, that we've ever gotten on the defensive side. And the future is looking so bright, headed into a potential 10-2 season, maybe 9-3, just huge improvement from last year. And you can see the more and more they get their talented players under them, the better the University of Oklahoma gets at football. You see that with our young freshmen right now. You see that just the core of our freshmen and sophomores currently. And gosh, it's just hot.
I love it. I love the top 10 class for sure as it stands right now. It also makes me feel better knowing that when these kids get here, they're going to contribute, like Patrick mentioned, quite early and often. We've seen what Brent and company have done with the 2023 class, how impactful they've been on this team already. Also the 2022 class, a class that a lot of people kind of shook their head at, turned their nose up to, but some of those guys are contributing as well. So I'm just really excited that not only are these kids going to be talented coming in, but they're going to be contributing. And that's something not a lot of teams can say. So that's good. That makes me feel good.
Well, and in that, I mean, we're talking about the 2024 class right now. And in this 2024 class, I'm looking at on 3. You look at the top 9, it's all offensive skill position players, defensive linemen, and safety Reggie Powers, who we didn't give nearly enough airtime because he committed during the Kansas game and we lost that one. So that,
that's true.
Tough turn of events there. But I mean, he's a top 10 recruit in our class, and that's the level of recruiting that we're getting to there. To your point, I feel like we as a group just keep on harping on the defensive line not having enough just man beating monsters up front. You need to get bigger and you need to get more dynamic up front. And that's something that the 2024 class is going to be able to offer you. David Stone, Nigel Smith, Danny Okoye, Jaden Jackson coming in. You're taking chances on players like, I mean, Wyatt Gilmore's not even a chance, man. That guy's a 3 or 4 star player on every single recruiting board. You've really got a bunch of dudes that are able to step in, and maybe they're not making day one contributions, but it's not going to take long. I think David Stone is a day one guy, and after that, all of them are going to see their ways into the rotation just as soon as we see guys cycle out. I mean, we're not going to have our Mason Thomas forever. We're not going to have all the guys older than him forever. And if a guy comes in and is a better player as a freshman, he's going to play. And that's not like on R. Mason. I actually like him a lot. He's a great football player, but just a guy in mind, right? A now older player. He'll be going into his junior year next year. Man, if Danny Okoye is a better edge, why wouldn't you just play him?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? We saw it this year. PJ got some snaps, some run early. Peyton's gotten run. Kip Lewis is getting run. Kobe, I mean, he's a sophomore, but Kobe McKenzie's getting some run. I just think, especially on the defensive side of the ball, some real impact players up front coming in with this class, and that's what's driving a lot of that number 8 ranking. Matt, what do you think?
Especially after the year we had, going 6-7, that BV and this coaching staff had to convince these kids to think about the future, to get the horses that we need heading into the SEC. Having a top 10 class is nothing to ever fret about. I mean, you think about these teams, it's going to be the Alabama, the Georgias, the Florida States, the Oregons. These are the schools that we're competing with, and the SEC alone brings enough talent just within the conference itself. And so you need these type of talent, these blue chip guys coming in like a David Stone, like the number 1 running back, Taylor Tatum, who will hopefully solidify our running back group next year and really take on that lead horse guy. I mean, we have 28 commits. I mean, this could be potentially a 30 commit signee class, which would be one of the largest ones that OU's had in recent history, but 2 5-stars, 16 4-stars, and 10 3-stars. That is a group of talented individuals who, like everyone said, will definitely make day one contributions coming in, because there's a lot of holes to fill in multiple spots on this OU roster. So nothing to fret about. This is exactly what you need heading into your first year in the SEC to complement the pieces that you have heading in there as well.
Absolutely. Let us know down below in the comments your thoughts on the number 8 recruiting class as it stands right now for the Oklahoma Sooners. All right, some quick updates. DG and Jaleel Farouk should be available to play on Friday against TCU. Permanent captains moving forward: Billy Bowman, Ethan Downs, Danny Stutsman, Dylan Gabriel, McKenna Tower, Woody Washington, and Drake Stoops. So we're done rotating captains, I guess. I have no thoughts on this. I've beat this horse to death. I don't like it. But here we are. It's November, and this is where we are. Patrick, you're muted.
Yeah, we've got captains now, so that's fun. I'm glad we decided on those captains, and I would say that this makes sense. This list makes sense to me. It's been the guys who've played the best or kind of stepped up the most this year. That's all I got.
Yeah, but like, who on that list surprises you? Right?
No one.
You know what I mean? Like, we could have avoided all the rigmarole and just done it at the beginning of the year. I don't know.
I think that he likes using the captaincy every week as a carrot, as something to like dangle in front of the players. That's what it seems like, because last week you hear about, hey, Tyler Guyton's healthy, but Jacob Sexton's a captain, so they let him play. I think there's some chicanery there too, but there's something to being a captain that they really value. I want to get back to Dylan Gabriel plays after that hit, man. I hope the offensive line is really, really good in the game.
He shouldn't play.
He shouldn't be playing, I don't think.
No.
And I hate when we're just, as fans, people with no real knowledge. We haven't seen Dylan since the game, right? We don't know anything. But the way that one looked, it feels like he shouldn't play. That's consistent with some freaking concussions. That's not an accidental bump. So either way, I hope he's fine. I hope he can play, but I question how actually okay he is. That's the part that sucks.
Yeah, I hope he's making the right decisions for himself and being selfish here. It's at this point too. I hate to say it, 9-3, 10-2, not a big difference.
You're so wrong about that, but that's
You are very wrong.
Like,
about
you're
that.
You're
Go,
right.
Matt.
I'm so wrong. I'm so wrong. We're still
No,
we're
stand
still
up
in
for
it.
yourself.
No, we're
Stand up
still
for
in the
yourself.
Big 12 championship running, so I'm completely wrong. You guys are right. So
Yeah.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead,
I said
Matt.
that.
Yeah, I just think based on the hit that we saw,
down.
having that whiplash, that obviously, I don't know what the concussion protocol is for college and how they do it, but if he's on 100%
they don't.
and all that, I would rather have Jackson Earl have a run at it, give him a full game, open up the playbook for him, and just see what Jackson Earl, because at this point you've already burnt his red shirt, right? Because he had to play in that last game. I believe that's what I read. I could be wrong at that, but I feel like if DG's not 100% there, why not give Jackson Arnold the reins? Let him play in the senior day. Obviously, let DG dress up and be a part of the last home game that he can be a part of. I guess technically he'd come back next year, but give Jackson Arnold the ability to go out there and throw and play against TCU in the final game of the season. Let's see what Jackson Arnold really has, give him the full playbook.
Yeah, I agree. And also the red shirt, I don't think I think it meant more to Brent than it did to like the grand scheme of things. Like a red shirt isn't going to keep Jackson Arnold an extra year. Like he's going to leave when he's ready. And if he continues an upward trajectory, like a red shirt's going to mean nothing in the long run. I get the premise, right? Like you leave your options open. Like I get it, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it means a whole lot.
If he's there for 5 years needing a red shirt, then he didn't become the guy that we needed him to become. And Kevin Sperry has already gotten the job. So it doesn't matter. Like his red shirt never mattered.
Yeah, I agree.
Last thing I'll say on the captains is Jonah Laulu was one guy we brought to the Big 12 Media Day who we felt as fans that was an indicator of being a leader on this team, and he's not a captain. So
that's a very good point, Patrick.
Me and all my friends hate Jonah Laulu now.
yeah, all of them.
Not really. He's a really great ball player.
Yeah, he's good. All right. So the latest bowl projections have OU and Alabama playing in the Cotton Bowl. Little rematch from the Sugar Bowl in 2013. 10 years later, could we have it? I don't know.
So how does that is that saying Texas makes the playoff then the runner-up is making the Sugar Bowl and then we are the runner-up to them?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that gets me here.
Seems like,
okay. Yeah. Interesting. So it's looking like this or the Alamo Bowl then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's the case. Look, you'd love to get a shot at Bama. You're going to play him again next year, but like, yeah, why not get a shot at him now? Get a measuring stick, see where you're at, know where you need to improve. It could be fun, but I think if you would have told me at the beginning of this year that, hey, Mason, I know you're really excited and it's August, but come January, this OU football team is going to be 10-2 heading to the Sugar Bowl or to the Cotton Bowl, and they're going to be playing Alabama, I'd be like, sign me up.
Absolutely.
I'd say sign me up. So I think it's important that we keep the perspective, right? Like we were all psyched at 7-0, as we should have been, and we had the conversation as we should have. Could OU run the table? I don't think we were like jumping a gun or anything in that. We were having a discussion about it on the pod, which is the place to do it. And now OU
in the comment section.
Yeah, and OU has a chance to be 10-2 and make a New Year's Six Bowl. That's called, what did we say at the beginning of the year? Growth. We need to see growth. We need to see this team improve. And this isn't an improvement like a 8-4 improvement. You can notch a 10-win season. That's big. That's big in my eyes.
Didn't we all say that we thought Bama would make the playoff though?
If they beat Georgia in the SEC title game.
Right. Yeah. They have to beat Georgia, right? Yeah. So there's a world still where it wouldn't even be Bama. It'd be
Missouri or
I've seen Tulane as well.
Oh, Tulane. That's not a bad.
Just like at large.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well,
I can get that.
A lot of things are going to USC change. Actually. So if UT doesn't make the playoff and it bumps us down a rung, program guys' trip to San Antonio doesn't sound so bad.
Dude, let's get weird. Let's get weird.
Dude, let's get
weird and volatile.
In San Antonio.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited. We'll be on the Riverwalk. Patrick will lead it, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even listening.
He's getting us a bar. He's getting us the blue room.
He's getting us a bar. He's getting us a bike bar.
Yeah, exactly. Patrick, your thoughts on the bowl projection?
I think it's too soon to speculate. I know speculating's fun. Playing Alabama would be so much fun, though. Not only just because we play them next year, but just to kind of really see where we're at with this team, because this team has a lot of potential. If we get up for that game, boy, am I excited for next year. But also could see us losing by 24 points.
I mean, that Alabama team's really good.
Yeah.
I think they're very good. I mean, we talked about it on the program roundup. Jalen, they're finally figuring out how to use the whole Jalen Milroe situation, and it's like they're a completely different team. Like if they played Texas again, I think they beat Texas by 2 scores. But I mean, that's why you play the games, right? The games have to matter at the beginning of the year. They have to matter. So it does, and teams change all the time, obviously. Matt, we haven't heard what you had to say yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of games to be played, so it's hard to say exactly who we're going to play. Again, it'd be great to play a great competitive team like Alabama, who's probably going to play a lot of their players in the bowl game. Again, it'd be a good measuring stick game, but I've seen Alabama, I've seen Tulane, I've seen some other teams as well. So I just think whoever we do end up playing, assuming that we win this week against TCU, hopefully getting to 11-2, I think that would be a solid bounce back year from a 6-7. A season ago.
Let us know down below in the comments what you think about the bowl projection. Where would you like to see OU play? What game would it be? Who would their opponent be? We read every single one of your comments. Would you say, Mark? Are you going to just say something? Perfect.
I love the point that y'all made about Bama. That's a great measuring stick if we play them.
Yeah. Zach Schmidt is going to remain the OU kicker. I don't know.
Not if I have anything to do about it.
I mean, Matt Gann, we might need to lace you up because like you can't be much worse.
And then I'm also going to need you to line up a kicker for us this weekend.
Yeah, nice. There we go. I like it. Little banter. Matt, anything to say?
Again, I said this last week. It's inexcusable to miss a kick on the right hash, far left. But BV, according to the reports, he's confident in Zach Schmidt. That's just a fundamental thing. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm sure it's just a lot of yada yada, kind of ring around the rosy, beating the bush kind of deal. At this point in the season, if Zach Schmidt has been playing this bad, I can't imagine who's behind him if they're not going to even give the second tier or second string kicker or third kicker even a try. I think it was funny, the guy who posted inside the practice facility hitting like a 50-yard field goal. I don't even know if that guy's on the team.
I don't know who that was.
Oh, I didn't see
great.
that. Someone went out there and did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he posted a video like right after the game or something of him hitting like a 40, 50-yard field goal in the practice facility. Again, at this point, if they haven't changed kickers, that's just not going to happen for the last game of the season. Just hoping they can get somebody who can start next year that just knows how to kick a field goal.
They'll get a transfer in. They'll get a transfer in with experience who's looking to play for a big name, who's at a smaller school or something. I guarantee you, because that dude ain't doing it. I guarantee you our backup kicker's like Drake Stoops or something. That's the only reason. There's no way, no possible way whoever's second on the depth chart is as bad as Zach Schmidt has been this entire year. I just find that so hard to believe.
It's got to be disheartening if you're that guy, because you're watching and you're making all the kicks in practice.
Yeah.
But Zach's probably also making all the kicks in practice. And you're just like, Coach, give me one try. Patrick, you could be the guy.
Yeah, you could
do it.
Even if this other guy's not making it from 40, if he's making it from 25 or 30, put him in for the 25 to 30-yard kicks.
No, you already play 3 punters, right? Like,
and four running backs. Might as well play 2 kickers.
Yeah, shit, man. So and NFL teams do that. NFL teams have a different dude who kicks off as a dude who like kicks field goals. There's precedent here. You can do different things.
Goofy precedent, but agreed.
Yeah, good precedent nonetheless.
Exactly.
But I'm just done with Zach Schmidt, and I'm to the point now where if we're in a situation and we're in a short yardage situation in the red zone and we're going out there and trot him out there, I'd rather go for it and live with the consequences at this point. I don't want to take my 50-50 shot with him. I'd rather take 50-50 shot at getting 6 rather than a 50-50 shot at getting 3. That's where I'm at now.
Especially if Jackson Arnold's in the game and it's 4th and 13 and Jalil Farouk is there, dude.
Yeah.
Really just like, I like that too, because you see Jackson in new fun competitive situations like that.
Yeah.
And just see how he handles it.
Yeah. I
don't kick field goals is the moral of the story.
It's crazy. All right. Brent Venables mentions that Peyton Bowen is battling an injury. Quote, I wish Peyton was healthy because he's between Cheetah and safety. It's hard when you're not available and not practicing as much. Bowen was one of the Sooners' top playmakers early in the season. has been getting limited action. That's according to Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World. Credit to Eric Bailey there. What does that quote say to you, Patrick?
I mean, we were curious as to why Peyton wasn't getting a lot of playing time, and this is the answer. It's crazy because he's a freshman, but his presence has been sincerely missed.
Yeah, and I feel like we get on the post game every time, and we're just like, every time Peyton's out there, he does something good. And it makes me, I don't know, it doesn't make me feel good, but it makes me feel good that it's like because of an injury and not because of like the coaching, like lapse in judgment, just being like, oh, we're not seeing it. It's like, how can you not? How can you not see it? So at least they know what they have in the kid. He's just been battling through some stuff, and you hate to see that, but I mean, if there's a time to go through injury attrition, it's probably your freshman year, right? Your true freshman year. So,
especially when you're a player like Peyton, who already has so much of that instinct, right? So much of that mental grasp of the game. Like he has, I think that there's some guys ahead of him that, man, in a perfect world, he would have overtaken. Like if he's healthy, then the safety rotation, if everyone is healthy, then the safety rotation is like Billy Bowman, Peyton Bowen, and Robert Spears Jennings, hopefully, right? That's what a perfect world looks like at the end of the year. But to Venable's credit, to Brandon Hall's credit, they recognize that this was the more likely situation. Guys get hurt, and Bowman's been hurt. Now Peyton Bowen's been hurt. Every safety has taken their turn getting a little nicked up, and we've had to rely on some of those guys that we've brought in, the Key Lawrence from 15 years ago now, and Reggie Pearson to step up and play those roles whenever guys just cannot play. I mean, how many guys have we seen line up and start at safety? It's like 5. A high number of guys, and hopefully Peyton Bowen, at least after bowl prep, is able to make a high impact in the bowl game.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Anybody else anything to add?
Just really hope he's not like a very injury prone player, because it's seeming like that's a possibility right now, which would really suck.
Yeah, I guess we have seen 9 games total ever. So maybe.
I get where you're coming from, Pat. You definitely don't want it to be the norm. And hopefully it's just an anomaly. And I tend to think it's just a guy transitioning to college football, the bumps and bruises, and getting his body accustomed to it. And I think he will. Another offseason with Schmitty putting on some weight and some muscle, I think is something that would do the kid well. Let us know down below in the comments what you think of the Peyton Bowen news and on the injury front. All right, folks, we got a game on Friday, Black Friday football game for the Oklahoma Sooners against the TCU Horned Frogs. Matt's TCU Horned Frogs, everybody. Matt Gann, say on the record right now, who you going for?
Boomer Sooner all the way. They'll always be my first team. But
my first team. It's just gross. But go ahead.
TCU has to be a part of that, unfortunately. A part of the teams that I root for. That is correct. And I have been watching this team closely.
Tennessee Patrick. Tennessee Patrick out of the woodwork here.
At least they have like a fan base and have won a national championship.
We're not doing this. I'll tell you what we're not doing. I'll tell you what we're not doing is this. So let's go ahead and start with the TCU offense against the Oklahoma defense matchups to talk about. We got TCU. They're third in the Big 12 in total offensive production, 461 yards per game. They run the ball at 152 yards per game. They throw the ball 309 yards per game. That is the second highest total in the Big 12 behind Oklahoma. So TCU, a potent offense that Oklahoma is going to be going up against. I'm very curious to see what this battle shows us, because coming off of, let's be honest, arguably one of the worst showings of the year against BYU in a bad offense, now you're facing an offense that knows what the hell they're doing, and Sonny Dykes knows how to game plan and what they're going to do. You better be on your P's and Q's, man. You better be ready to go. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm nervous. I'm nervous that that 1 week and a short week at that does not fix what woed the Sooners. Matt, what say you?
Yeah, their quarterback obviously came in halfway through the year. Josh Hoover in for former OU quarterback Chandler Morris, who got injured. This guy threw over 400 yards last week, 4 touchdowns for Baylor, but they really rely heavily on their running back Amani Bailey, who's rushed for over 1,000 yards, 7 TDs, 5 yards per clip. I think they're going to take a lot of tape from the BYU game and how easily BYU is able to rush through and some of the gap schemes, run gap schemes that they did. So I think they're going to play a lot of that same run scheme that BYU did. That's going to be a problem if the OU's runs defense can't handle it. But if they get that run game going, Josh Hoover has proven throughout the last 6-7 games that he's a capable quarterback. Is he the best quarterback that OU has faced all year? No, but he is capable of making big plays and putting the ball downfield if they get that running game going. So that would be what I'm looking for.
Hop in there.
TCU always, sorry, I'll go ahead. TCU always plays Oklahoma super hard. It's always a weird, strange game that I'm always kind of concerned about. My hopes, though, is I don't think our defense can have 2 bad weeks in a row. So the TCU offense just doesn't scare me as much because of that. I think our defense is going to be ready to go, and this game could be more. I think it's more likely that TCU only scores 3 points like Kansas State allowed than TCU scores over 30 points.
I can't keep predicting like insane OU games that don't come true. So actually, I think most of mine have been pretty good, but last week was definitely an L for me. Here's the thing is, especially in light of new quarterback, Hoover?
Josh Hoover.
Josh Hoover.
Josh, you're not all right, not Jake. I thought it might be Jake this time.
Josh.
Josh Hoover coming in has really resulted in an explosion for tight end. What's his first name? Jared Wiley. Dude comes in and scores 2 touchdowns last week against Baylor with 178 yards receiving. He is 6'7". This is a large human being, and the child playing quarterback for the TCU Horned Frogs has leaned on him along with senior JP Richardson. He is your classic annoying former lacrosse playing white guy that it just gets open and finds a way to make space. And that's always an issue, is just a dude who can find a place to get open. And hopefully we see, what I'd like to see is a lot more blitz, a lot more just heavy pressure, sit in the house, draw it up, fake it sometimes, right? Do what you got to do. But I'd like to see a lot of bringing it at the quarterback and making him beat you.
Brent was quick to point out earlier this week, I don't know if it was in his press conference or on his coach's show or what exactly it was, but he was quick to point out that the running game woes that Oklahoma faced against BYU had much more to do with the linebacker play as opposed to the defensive line play. He said as much, that the linebackers just didn't fit gaps as correctly as they normally do, and that's weird. Considering Danny Stutsman was out there and playing most of the snaps, he usually resolves all those issues.
And we called that in real time. We called that in the post game. Whatever it was, they were reading it wrong. Yeah.
So it makes me feel better that the defensive line, for whatever reason, it makes me feel good that the defensive line wasn't to blame, that they're doing their assignments. It's just up to the linebackers to do their job. And I trust the linebackers to do as much because Kip Lewis has been playing out of his mind. And Danny Stutsman should be a Butkus finalist. So I think you're going to be okay here if you can limit TCU's passing game. And Matt mentioned their running back is good, right? I'm not here to tell you their running game's not any good. They have a good running back, they have a good running game, but I'm speaking like in layman's terms here, which is very simple. Force them to be one-dimensional. Just tell them you're not going to let them pass the ball and rely on your front 7 to be better than their front 5. That's essentially what it comes down to, right? Because you're going to have 7 in the box. And if you can do that and force and outnumber them, do the math, 7-5, there's 5 linemen, and that quarterback's not blocking anybody. So just That's what you need to do. Just overpower them up front and force them to be one-dimensional, force them to run the ball. That's how I think you win the game. Mark's still doing the math. Anybody else on the OU defense against the TCU offense before we move on?
Who's playing corner? Who's playing corner and who's playing safety? I mean, Woody's healthy.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Gentry in a few weeks. And Walker comes off last week. Of all the freshmen, it seems currently, and tell me if y'all disagree with this perception of it, seems like they like Josiah Wagner a little bit more than the other two for getting in there with the current unit. It seems like that's an opening that I would target if I could. If I was son of Art Briles, Kendall Briles, and this TCU offensive coaching staff. I just want to make that really known for anyone who doesn't know it, is that the son of Art Briles, who coached for Art Briles, is the OC. Matt, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts, I think TCU has a lot more to play for. If they somehow beat OU this weekend, they will become bowl eligible, getting to 6-6. So I think they're having a little bit more added motivation, and they can catch us sleeping on a short week, playing the day after Thanksgiving, 11 o'clock game. It's senior day, so it's going to be a lot slower of a pace to even get the game started. So I can see definitely TCU coming out and putting points on the board. I mean, Vegas has the over-under being 63.5 points, OU being 10-point favorites. I mean, TCU for that line.
I think TCU covers that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I think there'll be some points scored for sure on both sides.
Yeah, I think there will too. But what Matt said, it's not to be trifled with. These Big 12 teams who are staying want to beat OU in Texas. They have this game. TCU has had this game circled, and you need to be ready to play because, like Patrick brought up, TCU always plays us tough, and they have extra motivation because they want to make a bowl game, because they want to beat OU, because they want to beat OU in their last conference game ever. That's all the motivation TCU is going to need to play their freaking hearts out. And Sonny Dykes isn't a joke. He knows what he's doing over there. Don't forget, this isn't the same team, but they made a college football playoff last year and won a game. And a win away from a national title. I know there's a lot of roster turnover, but that mentality sticks around. And those guys are going to come out thinking they can beat anybody. It doesn't matter what color you're wearing, anything like that. So be on the lookout for that. Because again, if OU comes out and they sleepwalk and get punched in the mouth like they did against Kansas, this team's in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble because I don't think they have the offensive firepower to keep up. Not the way that this offense is working right now.
Yeah, let's see lots and lots and lots of Nick Anderson and Jaden Gibson again. That was fun.
Yeah, transitioning to the offense is key. OU taking on TCU's defense. Sorry, I'm out of breath here. Goodness gracious, this illness is taking it out of me. 9th ranked defense in the conference is TCU. They allow 390 yards per game. They allow 149 rushing yards a game, and then on defense they allow, where's it at? I lost it. Oh, that's scoring. Sorry, hold please. I have it now. TCU allows 240 yards through the air per game. So a little stingier on the pass game than a lot of other teams. And sadness because I think that's how you win the game, to Mark's point. I think Jaden Gibson and Nick Anderson, I think you see a steady diet of them. I think you're going to see a lot of Drake Stoops, as you should. I'm fine with seeing Jaleel Farouk. I don't want to see gadget Jaleel Farouk. If you're going to get Jaleel Farouk involved, then get him involved in the pass game. I don't need nonsense bubble screen, jet sweep in the backfield Jaleel Farouk. I don't need it. Just line him up where he feels comfortable. Let him run a slant route. He made big catches last week in BYU when we needed it most. I think there were 2 first down catches that we had to have, and Jaleel was there. He's a receiver. Treat him as such. Gentlemen, what do we think?
Agreed with that. It's also hard to really comment on what the game plan needs to be because we don't know who's playing quarterback. And I think different things with both of the guys. One thing that I think is a constant no matter what is Gavin Sawchuk is RB1, right? I think we've declared 3 different guys that now throughout the season, but it seems like Gavin Sawchuk coming off his 3rd straight 100-yard game is definitely RB1. And no matter who you've got handing him the ball, I think you should feed him. I think that you got to see what you have week after week after week after week after week, because there is no like red shirt here or anything. And if he's a dynamic enough player to get you to the win, then you ride that and, do your dumb little RPO, throw it to a gigantic football player in Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson off of that. And that sounds like a fun game plan to me. That sounds like a winning game plan to me.
Yeah. Pat's on mute.
Muted.
Yeah, I feel like Jeff Lebby has figured it out. I think this offense is figured out now too. I feel very confident going to this game that we will have the correct scheme. We will have Gavin Freeman running the ball 90% of the time. We will have our wide receiver options going, and they're going to play well because they've really figured it out as well. We have 4 or 5 very dangerous guys at wide receivers at this point. So I'm feeling confident going into this game, whether it's Jackson or Dylan. If it is Dylan, I hope we don't run him a lot just because of that head injury potentially. And if it's Jackson Arnold, I also hope we don't run him a lot because he is a very good pocket passer and he doesn't need design run plays. He can figure out when to run on his own time when the pocket opens up, but we do not need to run him straight when you have someone like Sawchuk in the backfield.
Matt Gann.
You guys took all my points. Good banter. What I will say, no matter who the starting quarterback is, definitely lean on Gavin. The run game's been established. I would say if DG's playing, maybe more quick throws. The intermediate passing game has been really good over the past few weeks, especially Drake Stoops finding those little in-outs or finding space in the zones. I mean, Drake Stoops has been unbelievable the last 3 weeks, probably the best stretch that he's had, and I think in his career. He's just so consistent, just finds the spots to be in. So I think if it's DG's playing, rely on Gavin, find those intermediate throws, maybe quicker slant throws, just so he doesn't get too much pressure or take any big hits. If it's Jackson Arnold, open the playbook up. Let him throw it deep, just like he did with Nick Anderson. He can make those throws. The RPO game, hopefully don't run him as much, but if Jackson Arnold, I want him to just get the full playbook because we saw that he has the ability to run the offense even in a short amount of time. He was the one that made the audible. He saw the defense playing on Jaleel, and he hit Jaleel for that 3rd down conversion. You don't really see that out of a true freshman making audibles at the line and obviously converting it. It's one thing to make an audible, but it's another thing to execute it as well. So if JA is playing, give him the full playbook, let him go out there and just toss it around the yard and see what he's able to do.
Yeah, he has to have the full playbook because he has had a full spring, he's had a full summer, he's had an entire fall camp, and he's had an entire football season where he's been the backup and he's getting reps in practice and he's getting the full playbook because he's running what Dylan's running. You have to. You in practice, like that's the way it works. You don't like put Jackson in and then you're like, okay, the 2s are in. Let's completely change everything. Like that's not what they do. So he knows the plays. He knows the playbook. Maybe his processing is a little slower than Dylan's at times because that's just the jump he's going to have to make. But yeah, Matt, I completely agree. There's no reason to put him out there and put handcuffs on him and just be like, okay, we're going to run these simple route concepts and we're going to run them all day. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Like, no, that's ridiculous. He's talented enough to do it. Also, would not be surprised at all if Dylan's out there warming up like Danny Stutsman did against OSU and then just doesn't play. I would bet that to be more likely than Dylan plays on Friday. That's my take.
Don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah, I don't either. But I think there's also gamesmanship involved, right? I guarantee, I haven't looked, but I'm sure Dylan did like interviews this week like with guys post practice and answered questions like any other week that he's starting, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to make it seem as normal as possible to keep TCU guessing so they don't know who to game plan for. And then you're going to get out there and it's going to be the Jackson show, which is fine by me. Like that's what you get in college football because there's no injury report there that's required from them. Although the Bengals don't seem to care about that in the NFL, but that's my thoughts on the matter. Anything else on the game before we get to predictions, boys?
Jackson looked so poised last week, and he's so clearly taller than Dylan that some of those throws are just easier, especially the crossing throws to Jalil Farouk, right? Like those third downs are across the middle. That's going to be his bread and butter. And I'd love to see him exploit that even more this week if that's what ultimately happens. We saw a lot of going 4 wide when Jackson came into the game. I like the idea of splitting your receivers out deep, like far, 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 letting Jackson just survey what the defense got and fire the ball in there. Just be a point guard. Don't get him to, physically active in the game. Keep your guys safe. And if it's Dylan, you just run your offense. He's been doing his thing all year.
The video after the game of Jeff Lebby hugging Jackson Arnold, Brent Venables coming over, then hugging Jackson Arnold. Lebby and Brent Venables also kind of giving each other a hug, and I don't know what they did, but they were very happy together. It looked like one big happy family, and it was the cutest video. And I was like, everyone's staying here for a while, and it's going to be beautiful.
I think that was mostly like 2 grown men recognizing that their futures are locked in if they want it. I think they're like, that guy, we did that.
Yeah.
Let us know down below in the comments what you think of the OU offense against the TCU defense in that matchup. Who do you think is going to start a quarterback? Let us know down below in the comments. All right, boys, prediction time. Matt Gann, I want to start with you because you're the one with the most on the line.
Yeah, I do have a lot of line on this weekend. I'm going to say it's going to be a closer game than most. I'm going to go, no matter who's starting at quarterback, I'm going to say 35-28. I think it's going to be closer than people want on senior day. And TCU is going to be able to put up some points. I think they're going to watch film from BYU. And we're playing on a lot better field this weekend. So I think points will be scored. I think it'll be closer, 35-28 is my final prediction.
Horn Frog Hugh has the Sooners. Patrick, what do you say?
42-31. Sooners cover the 10-point spread.
Ooh, that's interesting because I don't think they cover. I think Oklahoma wins 34-31 in a nail-biting fashion. I think TCU has the ball to win the game in the fourth quarter and the defense steps up big. Go ahead and give me Trace Ford as a guy who makes a play at the end of the game. I'm calling it right now. Mark, what do you got?
Sorry about that. I am struggling with this one a little bit. The forecast calls for a little bit of rain on Saturday, and that's
Friday.
Not ideal. Friday
game.
Yep. Black Friday.
Friday game. Oh my
Friday.
God. My mistake. I was looking at Saturday. Okay. Yeah. No rain. Come on, guys. I said I was going to get away from it. I'm not getting away from it. Are you shitting me? We are so much better than TCU. It's not even close. Look up and down the rosters. I don't care who's starting at quarterback. I don't care who's starting along the offensive line. I don't care. I mean, I do care who's starting at corner. That's the spot that we got to look at, right? I care who's making plays at safety and linebacker. But you know what? No matter who it is, we should be better than them. Give me the Oklahoma Sooners in a get-right opportunity, even though we won last week, 45-24.
Love it.
Let us know down below in the comments your score prediction. Before I get to the Circle of Wagons segment, because we have Circle of the Wagons with Matt Gann coming up. Boys, the Big 12 tiebreaker scenarios are, I can't remember. Texas has to lose. That's the easiest path, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Texas has to lose to Texas Tech on the road in Lubbock, or are they in Austin? I think they're in Austin.
They're in Austin.
Yeah, they're in Austin. And then also a scenario is if OSU loses, we also need Kansas State to lose. Is that what I saw? Think if
OSU loses and we win, we're good.
Really?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
too.
I think Texas has to lose, and then Iowa State also has to be Kansas State, I believe.
Gotcha.
I think so. If
I
OSU
don't-
loses, we're in.
If OSU loses, Oklahoma's in. OSU hosting BYU in Trillwater. I believe that game's on Saturday though. So OU is going to already have their game done and out of the way and just playing scoreboard watching.
Yeah.
And I think Texas is on Saturday as well. I don't think they're a Friday game. Because of course OU's got to be
Saturday is going to be so fun.
Saturday will be fun.
Like just having our stuff finished.
Dude, Friday's going to be weird for me because I have the Sooners and the Dolphins on the same day. I got them like
Wow.
back to back.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
What a
Yeah.
day.
I know, pretty wild, pretty sick.
Rowdy.
And also, if we're gonna do it, I'm gonna say it. Jinx against Union at 7 p.m.
Love it.
right after.
Oh no, I hate it.
Trifecta.
Oh, you're gonna
Trifecta.
wait.
Yeah.
Right after on Friday?
Yeah.
But okay, are you working?
No, I'm not. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
so
try to
you're
go
a
watch the
fan.
game. I may just
Oh,
go watch the
baby.
game.
Oh
I don't know.
man, you'd be stumbling around the game. Give you a sideline pass, you fall
Yeah.
face first onto the field, some shit like that.
Be wild. Be
This is
wild.
a big day.
It'll be a big day. Big day for sure. All right, Matt Gann, let's circle the wagons, brother. What do you got?
Yeah, it has been a while, but I'll make it quick because we've been crushing the podcast. So starting with OU women's volleyball, 10-16 overall. They just recently split the series with Cincinnati. They'll finish the season against Texas Tech in Lubbock before coming back home for senior night against West Virginia this weekend. OU's men's wrestling starting off hot, 3-0, beating Central Michigan, Little Rock, and North Dakota State, all sweeping victories for them. They will start their Big 12 action 2 weekends from now against Missouri, who's still part of the Big 12 action, at least for wrestling purposes. Got to get into the two bigger programs that have started recently. OU's men's basketball and women's basketball. Starting with the men, they are currently 4-0. They also beat Central Michigan, Mississippi Valley State, Texas State. And let me know if you guys know this. UTRGV. Can anyone tell me what university that is? Patrick, go ahead.
University
UTR.
University of Tennessee, Green
University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
Oh, there
That
you
is
go.
correct. Mark, you
Almost
are
like y'all don't know how I do this.
so handsome and so smart at the same time. They will compete in Randy's Children Invitational this weekend in San Diego. Hopefully, Patrick will be boots on the ground for that. They will play Big Boy Iowa and then either play USC or Seton Hall in the second round, depending on the first game outcome. Women's basketball, Jenny B. First week on the job, already winning ESPN's National Coach of the Week, starting the OU's women's basketball off 5-0, currently ranked 22nd in the nation. They got a good victory over Wichita State, playing number 12 Ole Miss on the road, beating them by 10 points before playing, or then afterwards beating ORU, Alabama State, and Virginia Knight the other week. So great start for OU's women's basketball, especially after last year. They lost the top 3 scorers in OU's history when all 3 of them graduated. So a pretty big bounce back to try to find a committee of players that really Jenny had to work with last year. So I know she is currently figuring it out already. They will compete in the Fort Myers, Florida tip-off, and they will play Princeton and then number 19 Tennessee. So I know Pat's Lady Vols will be playing them Lady Sooners. Will be interesting to see who Patrick votes for and roots for in that game. And that is a quick circle the wagons update. Be ready for some great sports. Basketball looking great so far this season.
I do want to say, with all due respect, I have a massive crush on Jenny Baranchik. Like massive.
She's great. She's great.
Yes, she's a woman. I'm a man. Let's get that out of the way. But she's a hell of a basketball coach, and she's doing the right things. Shout out Jenny.
Oh, she brings
Big
the
fan.
fire and passion every game when she's on the sideline. It is incredible to watch. If you haven't, watch an OU women's game so far this year.
Big fan. Also, we wanted to throw this in
Life-changing
there.
experience.
If you're still with us, folks, Danny Stutsman is not a Butkus Award finalist. Here's who is, though. Tyron Hopper from Missouri, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from Clemson, and DeFawn, oh man, Ulo
Why are you doing this to
Foshio.
yourself?
I know. He's from Washington. Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State. Peyton Wilson from NC State. I want to give credit where it's due to George Stoya here. He said, here's the Butkus Award finalists, in which Danny Stutsman has more total tackles than 3 of them and more tackles for loss than 4 of them, tying Peyton Wilson for the most, despite missing 1.5 games to injury. He's absolutely robbed of being a finalist.
Ridiculous.
And
why?
It's straight up criminal. I genuinely want the Butkus Award to put out a statement and show or if it's a voting process, show the votes. Because how does he miss out? You got a dude if you want to bring up Oklahoma's 2 losses, that's fine. Why is a Clemson dude up there? Why is a Mississippi State dude up there? Like, what are we doing? It's upsetting, man. It's upsetting. He's played so well this year and he deserves so much credit and he's just not going to get any. And like, I'm sure, yeah, it'll put a little chip on his shoulder, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure he's like not devastated over it, but it sucks, right? Like you deserve to be recognized. You really, really do.
See his post about it, or when it came out, his post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If he's fired up to play on Friday after that post. Got a lot of Twitter attention as well.
What did it say?
Go look for yourself, bro.
I'll tell you. Anybody else on the Danny Stutsman
Communion one?
I think he is.
That was related to the Butkus list?
What do you think it's related to?
He just came up with it because he's a goofball.
Yeah, I thought it was him being a goofball.
He said, I'm like communion, that cracker with the juice. And then
really
Lil Yachty said bar.
Lil Yachty commented on it?
He got a lot of national attention after that. A lot of people were re-quoting it and tweeting it.
Jaron Kanak said Connor Neer said it first. It's classic.
Funny. That's funny. He took his line.
That's good stuff. Yeah. So sucks for Danny, but I'm sure he'll be okay. A little Yachty saying bar. That's amazing.
We should all work to come up with captions like Danny Stutsman captions.
I know.
Just like 2023 version of a 2012 Lil Wayne line kind of shit.
Yeah, that's very good.
I make a pop balloons.
Golly. Don't, and I ain't talking about Homer. Chick so bad the whole crew wanted Homer. Hilarious. Okay. PGP MVP
Matt,
of the week. Yeah, Matt, tell us your favorite Lil Wayne bar. Right now.
Fireman.
I wouldn't expect anything else. Patrick, who's your PGP MVP of the week, man?
It's Brent Venables, because this week in his press conference, he said how terrible he was last year and how terrible the coaching staff was last year. He didn't stand up there and say, we were only a player 2 away. He said flat out, we were terrible. That's not coach speak. That's just brutal honesty. And that's the kind of coach I want leading my team.
Par.
Are you talking about last year or last week?
He said last week or last year.
Okay.
I believe he said last year.
Okay. I just want to make sure because he was also pretty self-critical about the performance last week.
Yeah. He was. Mark, who's your MVP, man?
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's his last senior, or I guess his only senior day, right? Last time stepping onto the field, Drake Stoops.
Yeah.
If you told me we would all hold him this fondly, and not just because his last name was Stoops, but because of just the way he plays football, when he signed that PWO years and years ago, all the quarterbacks he's gone through, all the guys he's played with and stuck around, and whether he was 5th on the depth chart when he could have been 1st at a smaller school, or a time like now or last season when you don't have a down without Drake Stoops being on the field, or you wanting him to be on the field in Gavin Freeman's place. And just a crazy ride for him through his Sooner career, and always going to be an OU MVP. So this week, he'll be my PGP MVP. Drake Stoops, baby.
Drake Stoops, Matt Gann, who's your MVP?
Going basketball again. The Thunder First time in 25 years when they played the Trailblazers last night, where a team shot 60% from the field, over 60% from 3-point land, and 100% from the free throw line. This team is on an incredible run. They are tied for first in the West Division when no one thought the Thunder would be there so easy. Again, fairly early in the season, but the Thunder are playing incredibly well and very efficient. They are the number one shooting team in the league so far in a lot of offensive categories as well. So this young team proven they got ball. They got some ball in them. Thunder.
That's right. I have my PGP MVP of the week is my mom, because she balls out for Thanksgiving. She cooks a mean meal. Her handmade cornbread stuffing is to die for. Dressing, whatever you want to call it. Sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, the turkey, the ham, greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. Potatoes. She does it all, man. And she's a stud. And we're having a lot of family in town from out of town in Arkansas. And we're all going over there tomorrow night. Wednesday night is gumbo program. Night in the Prince household. We're going to have gumbo on Wednesday, Thanksgiving food on Thursday. Going to be amazing. Can't wait to spend time with your family. Hopefully you get to spend some time with your family this Thanksgiving. Tell somebody you love them. Enjoy this. Be thankful for this. And root on the Sooners on Friday. That kickoff is at what time?
11 o'clock.
11 a.m. kick on Friday.
If you see us on campus, some of us will be there.
Yeah. Say what up.
Hit us up. Last chance in the home game.
Yep. Say what up to the people. Wear your Program Guys shirt if you got one, and send us a picture as well. That's going to do it. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. We'll see you for the post-game pod and the program roundup this weekend. Patrick, go ahead. Take us out, man.
Keep pushing it, baby.